Okay, good evening. So, I thought I might drop a little Torah teaching on us this evening. This past week, we read the Torah portion Korach, and you all know the story. Korach and some of his men, and those who agree with him, I want to say 250 or less of the Israelites joined with him to basically overthrow the government. His objection, however, was legitimate to some degree, in that he said, we're all just as holy as you, all God's people are holy, and you're not any better than we are. We should be able to be prophets and priests as well. Now, that was the part that got them in trouble, and that was the part where they were wrong. The Torah gives very specific instructions on who does what. And of course, Korach and his family were Levites, so they had a role to play in the temple, but it was not as a priest or as a prophet. So, you know how the story ends. Fire pans are placed. God decides from heaven above, and the earth swallows up Korach and his men. We do find some of his children later on, or some of his, I don't know if children, but at least his offspring years later, who are actually pretty famous in the Torah. So it shows us that even for something like that, God is able to ultimately forgive. So Korach wishes to usurp Moses and Aaron for personal gain rather than for the sake of heaven. And all of our arguments should be for the sake of heaven, not for our own glorification, not for monetary gain. I remembered as I was reading this, the old adage that the Torah is not a spade. And while there's nothing wrong with preachers and rabbis and imams plying their trade, teaching people Torah, visiting the sick, doing all the things that they do, certainly if all they're doing is trying to get money out of those things, then of course we have a problem. Kalischer said that, like many demagogues, they, being the followers of Korach, defined themselves by what they were against, not the vision of what they stood for. And this has always been a pet peeve of mine. I don't like to engage in argument about who you're not or what you don't do. Rather, I think we should be known for what we stand for and what we do, rather than what we don't do. Basically, at one point, Korach says you've gone too far, all God's people are holy, and this is in counter to God's commandment that all of the people become holy. So he's saying we're already holy, and to some degree that is true, but the counter offer, so to speak, is that all of the community is challenged to become holy. God says, I am holy, so you be holy. Not I am holy, so you are holy. A midrash portrays Korach as caricaturing the rituals in the Torah by casting them in an extreme form. For example, does a library full of Torah scrolls, therefore full of scripture, require a mezuzah? You'll remember that a mezuzah has three paragraphs of scripture, and of course the Torah has thousands. So the argument being Why put a mezuzah, even though the Bible tells you to put a mezuzah on your doorpost, etc.? Why put one on a synagogue or a Torah library? Because the library is already full of them. Same idea. If you have a completely blue prayer shawl, should you need to place the string of blue in the four corners if the rest of it's blue. So anyway, he was trying to turn the Torah on its head and that type of thing, and show that the Torah wasn't necessary to follow the Torah. So ultimately, he was challenging not only Moses and Aaron's authority, but that of the Torah, and therefore ultimately of God. So anyway, I found that a very interesting section, and I did use Et Chaim as my major source this week. But the I missed a line here. One thing, because I know I used another source at one point in time, the Life Application Study Bible points out that there is sometimes a fine line between goals and greed, and I thought that was a very good point as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Hope to see you again soon, and shalom.